Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Vagisha Mishra and I review and decode beauty pageants at my channel. So if you're visiting the space for the very first time, please go ahead and subscribe the channel so as to always get notified whenever a video goes live at my channel. So in this very video, after many of you commented in my previous videos which I did for the series of decoding pageant communication skills, many of you asked what should be the factors which they can work upon in order to control and manage the stress which they get during the pageant interviews. So today I'm going to talk about the very same thing. But before we begin with this video, first of all, I want you to emphasize on the fact whether the stress you're taking is positive or negative, and what kind of perspective do you have about your fear or your confidence. First of all, let's talk about the word fear for interview. Now, I've heard many people that they get sweaty palms, they get fumbled whenever they are speaking, or they are just feeling very anxious that everybody is watching them. So in that very sense, the very word fear plays a decisive role in controlling your nerves while you're giving your pageant interview or any interview particularly. So when we talk about the word fear, the first thing which you need to learn is to replace the word fear with excitement. Now, I'm very sure that when you replace the word fear with excitement, that I'm feeling so excited because I have my pageant interview lined up, I think you are just boosting and pushing yourself to give your best in your pageant interview. So the very first thing you need to do is to replace the whole idea and perception about fear with excitement. The problem with interviews is the fact that people create so much of hype and buzz around the whole scenario of pageant interview or any interview that people get very much insecure and anxious whenever they hear about interview. You have to first of all understand that interview by any means is no way to test your stress. Of course, they do judge candidates on the basis of certain question, how well you're able to handle the stress, because if you're not able to handle the stress during your interview, will you be able to handle everything which you will be facing throughout your reign whenever you're crowned as a beauty queen? So in that sense, it's very important to know how stressful you are in any given situation. But apart from that, we also have to understand that interviews are basically a platform where you get to have a conversation with any organization which is choosing or pondering to decide whether to choose you for that particular title and work with you for whole another year or not. So in that sense, you have to start understanding this very first fact that it's just a simple conversation between you and your recruiter. You have to understand that you have to introduce your whole personality in this very interview. So if you're able to show different aspects of your personality, different sides of your behavior and your persona as an individual, this is where you get the maximum attention to go ahead in the competition. So that is something which you need to work upon, how well you can enhance the traits and characteristics of your own individual personality before all the people who are sitting in the jury panel. Also, when I'm talking about replacing the word fear with excitement, what I mean here is to be cautious and alert when it comes to your preparation, but it does not really mean that you have to be careless. So a positive kind of stress is really important. Imagine you have been studying for an examination for many days and you get to know that your examination is not going to be held. I'm very sure that you will not feel the same kind of boost and enthusiasm to study and get all the information and knowledge as much you will get when you have to prepare yourself for an examination of which the date has been scheduled properly right from the beginning. So in that sense, it's very important to have a positive kind of stress to remind you that whether you are working towards your goal positively or not, but when it comes to taking your stress or managing your stress, it's all about how well you're getting affected by different things happening around you. Now, the very first thing you need to master your stress during your interview is to find the source of your stress. Why are you feeling stressed out? Why are you feeling afraid? Why do you have the fear to face that interview? So it could be possible because of many reasons. Maybe you're not very much prepared for the competition. Maybe you don't know how the scenario is going to turn out. And maybe you don't have enough communication skills to convey what your thoughts and feelings are. So these could be the possible reasons why you're feeling afraid to face that interview. Because if you're very much prepared for the competition, if you're very much prepared for the pageant interview, you will be very much excited to showcase all what you have to offer. But if you're not looking forward to the pageant interview, there might be certain kind of loopholes which you yourself are very much aware about. So in that sense, first of all, you need to find the source of your fear, and then you need to work upon these little things. You need to master these little things and just make yourself better with every passing day. And I'm very sure if you come across your pageant preparation very nicely, I'm very sure that you're not going to be afraid when you face that pageant interview. Of course, we all feel excited, we all feel zitters in our stomach whenever we are going to face any interview. But if you are very much prepared, then I'm sure that you're going to handle it very precisely. Now, the second tip which you can use to handle your stress during your interview is to recollect all the positives which you have accomplished in your life. Now, I'm very sure that we all as human beings have accomplished certain baby steps. We have achieved certain milestones in our life which might not be very big thing to talk about in public platform, but we know we are very proud of ourselves. It can be as little as feeling depressed but still going to your work after collecting yourself very boldly and confidently. So in that sense, we all have overcome certain loopholes, we have overcome certain anxieties and insecurities, and we all have managed to be very much successful in these little things in our life. So in that sense, always remind yourself what all you have achieved in your life, what positive thing you have done, and how well you have influenced the people around you. Are the people around you satisfied because you did something, you contributed something? So in that sense, it's very important to keep on recollecting certain positive affirmations which you have accomplished in your life. Also, the whole idea of comparison is very fatal. When we see a lot of huge crowd of girls who are very well prepared, their styling is great, they know how to talk very well, they're very fluent in communication, we do tend to develop certain insecurity in us. I've seen many girls going through the same phase. They try and compare themselves with all the girls who are present there in the pageant auditions venue. So in that sense, you have to stop comparing yourself with all the other girls who are there around. Every individual is different, every individual is unique, and how you choose to talk about your life and your experiences might be very different from how other candidate might be talking about. And sometimes more or less how you present yourself is something which matter a lot in pageants, and I have stressed upon this time and again. The content of your speech does really matter a lot, but it does not hold any value whatsoever if you're not able to say it with the correct attitude, with the correct aura. So in that sense, it's very important how you're handling yourself, your personality, your voice modulation, your composure, your body language whenever you are holding that mic and giving an interview. Now, the third technique which you can use to handle and control your stress during interview is the visualization technique. And I have been using this technique for so many years till now. And this has become a very normal part of my life, you know. So in that sense, the visualization technique is all about when you are sitting ideally at your home, when you're going to bed, or whenever you're just sitting randomly, you know, in a free pastime, in your leisure time. You just imagine the whole scenario of the pageant interview hall. You imagine yourself opening the door, taking your seat, you're smiling back to the judges, and then you imagine the whole scenario. And being a literature student, I am a very imaginative person, so I always, you know, imagine certain scenarios in my head. So this is a very helpful technique, because when you rehearse yourself going to a pageant interview, when you rehearse yourself talking to different people, answering and talking about your certain life experiences, sharing your personality, your story with other people, you kind of get very confident and comfortable with the whole interview scenario, because that is something which will not remain new to you whenever you will be going to any interview venue. So it's very important to be certain about yourself. If you feel that you have a good story to tell, and people will certainly be moved and touched by your story, how you talk about certain things, it's all about belief. If you believe in yourself, I'm very sure that you will nail your question and answer round or any pageant interview very conveniently, because you believe in yourself. So it's all about the confidence which you have in yourself. And unless and until you don't feel confident about yourself, nobody else is going to feel confident about you. So you have to start believing in yourself. You have to visualize that you're telling your story to other people, and other people are responding very positively and affirmatively to it. So in that sense, if you are able to control it, if you are able to tune your energy very well, I'm very sure the next day when you walk into your interview venue, other people will be welcoming you because you will be rejuvenated and all charged up from within. The next tip is very common. I'm very sure you must have heard from different people if you have consulted different pageant experts or different coaching institutes for pageant. So it's all about practicing your frequently asked questions. Now when we talk about the pageant question and answer round or about the closed door interview, I have also made a video on that. I have talked about certain commonly asked questions in closed door interview, so you can refer to that video if you haven't watched it yet. So if you practice these frequently asked questions for your pageant interview, I'm very sure you're going to nail your performance, because pageant interviews are very limited. Nowadays there are certain political questions, people do talk about certain political issues, but that is the case only with Miss Universe pageant. If you talk about certain pageants like Miss Supranational, Miss Grand International, Miss World, these pageants ask very generic kind of questions to their candidates, and these questions are not only meant to be rehearsed and memorized, but these questions are something which you should always keep in your mind whenever you're preparing yourself for a pageant interview, or let's say pageant per se. So what you can do is you can have a notebook, you can write down all the questions which are commonly asked in 4-5 years. You can start writing down your thoughts. I won't say that you should start penning down your answer word by word, because that is a very silly thing to do, because you don't remember certain things which you write word by word. So the key to remember all the certain things is to write the keywords, just write one particular word, separate it with a comma, write what you feel about any given scenario, and then how you just join everything in a form of sentence, how you can make it a little bit crisp, you can make it a little bit short, and how you can convey your whole emotion and temperament through these few words which you have selected. That is something which you need to work upon. Practice these common questions. Like if you talk about certain current pageants, you will be asked about women empowerment, you will be asked about climate change, you will be asked to speak about the pandemic. This is the most common question which has been asked in most of the pageants, in Miss Grand International, in Miss Universe, and many other pageants which we have seen in national and international pageants. So in that sense, you need to be very much politically and socially aware, economically aware about what is happening around the whole world, and what is your view and take on these given scenarios. What is your view on vaccination? What is your view on pandemic? What is your view on economy? So all of these things you should be very well clearly aware about. So these things will really help you to frame your mindset, and it's all about, as you can see in the word, the mindset, the root word, how you set your mind. That is something which you need to master upon. If you prepare yourself very well for all these frequently asked questions, I'm very sure there won't be anything extra additional which you will be asked in your pageant interview. So this is how you can prepare yourself for your pageant interviews. You can prepare all the frequently asked questions, and if you have really worked upon certain question, you can use the content of that very question in some other question with certain changes, with your wisdom. You can do that. So you will be quick enough to answer these questions in your way. So that is my 4th tip, and let's move towards the last tip of today's video. Now this last tip might seem to you as a very silly and normal thing, but trust me, smiling is the key to win everybody's heart, and it will certainly calm down your nerves as well. So if you are smiling, if you are happy from within, if you are always carrying a smile on your face, you will constantly feel charged up to deliver what you have to offer to different people who are listening to you. So confidence is the key. If you're always smiling, you will certainly feel better, and there are certain hormones also in your body which get released when you smile. So in that sense, it will all take you towards a very positive outset of your speech, and you will be able to create a very remarkable mark when you go for your pageant interview. So these were my tips to handle your stress during your pageant interview. Do let me know if you found this video very helpful, and also let me know what kind of videos would you like to see more in my space. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys very soon with the next one. Bye bye.